All right, remember, January fixed, not January 6th, January fixed. I think we can make this a thing. I think we should get it trending, and everybody should be talking about January fixed, not January 6th, whenever it comes up. All right, now, Tucker Carlson has provided groundbreaking, totally amazing information about what went down on that day. And this changes the entire equation. It really, really does. I mean, to see Capitol Hill cops assisting the Horns guy, putting him in a position where he could actually be the face of the so-called insurrection. Wow. But they're coming for Tucker now because no one is supposed to question the Democrat preferred and false narrative that is January 6th. You know, they complained about Trump's Twitter. Joe Biden's is far worse. What he did just a little while ago, more than 140 officers were injured on January 6th. I've said before, how dare anyone diminish or deny the hell they went through? I stand with the Capitol Police. Well, can you imagine Joe Biden standing with the Minneapolis Police Department after the death of George Floyd? Tucker Carlson is revealing damning information that must be addressed. It must be recognized. You can't hide behind the cops on this one. But they are, because the Democrats, they have a lot to hide. Personally, I can't stand with a broken police department that still has not explained why it shot Ashley Babbitt. Not going to do that. And also, their failures that day, no, sorry. Why was one police officer at Peace Circle on Capitol Hill? This is Peace Circle, right in front of the Capitol, right? A very critical avenue of approach to the Capitol. Take a look at this picture, and you'll see on January 6th, a grand total of how many people? One. And according to the January 6th report, the Peace Circle's geographical location is crucially important for understanding how the January 6th attack unfolded. And they did note that there was just one U.S. Capitol Police officer standing guard at the Peace Circle fence. It's almost like they wanted to lose on January 6th. New information is coming in. Kevin McCarthy gave it to Tucker Carlson. I mean, he is a really good source, right? This is a story. But apparently Tucker Carlson is a monster for getting a scoop.
I think Tucker Carlson is more destructive to American political discourse than Donald Trump, and I think he's more powerful.
I'm beyond appalled. I'm not surprised. We know who Tucker Carlson is. Tucker Carlson is a parasite on the body politic who, by his own admission and by the words that we're getting from the Dominion lawsuit, is willing to enrich himself and his business to peddle the most insane conspiracy theories to a very small number of people who eat that up.
Wow. Parasite on the body politic, all because he's reporting the truth. Because he, Tucker Carlson, formerly an accepted and admired member of the media elite. When he worked at CNN, they had no problem with him then. When he worked at MSNBC, okay. When he was a guest on Dancing with the Stars. Now, part of the outrage, and it's not fake outrage, they are furious with him, is that Tucker has dared to ostracize himself from the swamp and side with the truth. And side with the people. He can tell the truth on the deep state because he knows it very, very well. Absolutely. Now, possibly somewhat similar, I served in the Marine Corps, active duty for 9 years, a dozen in the reserves. I know some of the best and bravest people wear a uniform. I also know that's not automatic. Just because someone is a Marine, a soldier, or a Capitol Hill police officer does not mean they're automatically better than anyone else. Sometimes they're a lot worse. And a gun and a badge and a holier-than-thou attitude can be catastrophic for former Metro PD cop Fanone.
The indifference shown to my colleagues is disgraceful.
Wow. One more time. The indifference shown to my colleagues has been disgraceful. So how did they calm him down? $500,000 at least from GoFundMe, a book deal, congressional gold medals, and White House gold medals. I wonder if he's still angry. Back to Tucker. I noticed something in the video he revealed this week. The officer walking with the horns guy, all right? Now, he's in the back there, and he proceeds throughout this footage. Let's highlight him if you don't mind. I've seen him many times before. We've featured him on this show. Actually, we have a still that we've used many times where he's giving directions. He's actually giving directions to the horns guy and his friends, right? What does that look like? And take a look at it. He's got a beard, all right? I want you to remember that. Here he is tagging along with the horns guy right into the Senate chamber. There he is back there. I'm not sure of his name, but I did see him in an HBO documentary. I think deliberately distorting the entire matter.
Of the state of Arizona. Can I get a photo of that? Wait, no, that's a
There's people in the Senate chambers. And that's when I noticed the shaman. I walk in behind him, and that's when I realized I was alone now. I was by myself.
Hey, man. Glad to see you guys. You guys are patriots. Look at this guy. He's got covered in blood. God bless you.
One guy had a hole through his cheek, bleeding out of his mouth.
I got shot in the face with some kind of plastic bullet.
Any chance I could get you guys to leave the Senate wing?
We will. I've been making sure they ain't disrespecting the place.
Okay, just want to let you guys know this is like the sacredest place.
I know.
Hey, no, I'm gonna take it. Sit in this chair.
He gets up on the podium, and in my mind I was like, I can't do anything. You know, I can only do is, you know, shout orders, and if they listen, great. If they don't, I can't force them. I'm by myself.
By yourself, by yourself. Call for backup. I mean, I saw a lot of guys. You just walked by. You didn't seem to need their help. Why didn't he ask one of the dozen uniformed Capitol Police officers to join him? Seemed like he knew exactly where he was going. He was on some sort of errand. All right. Now, we also have this from Tucker. Retired Capitol Police officer, you may remember, he had a MAGA hat on. Now, he was active duty on January 6th, but that MAGA hat reportedly got him into a lot of trouble.
A photo emerged of Johnson wearing a MAGA hat outside the Capitol. That picture cost him his career.
Sometimes I look at it and like, thank you, God, for blessing me with this hat. And sometimes I'm like, wow, I wish this hat never came in my life.
A Biden voter, Johnson says he donned the hat in an effort to rescue fellow officers he believed were trapped in the building.
I figured if I had the hat on, it'll be easier for me to navigate my way through the crowd. It was basically self-preservation and de-escalation, and I needed to get up those steps. I couldn't say what would have happened walking through that crowd without it.
Now, to me, it didn't look that dicey as he was walking up those steps, but let's take him, de-escalation technique. And that's what the chief of the department said yesterday. Oh, his officers were using de-escalation tactics to talk to rioters into getting each other to leave the building. But that MAGA hat, right? It really did him in. The fake news Democrats, they hated that. They hated that sight. Whether or not it would work to pacify the situation, he shouldn't have been wearing that hat, they say.
A Capitol police officer is seen in a red Make America Great Again hat. It's unclear whether he's showing his allegiance.
Another one seen on video wearing a Make America Great Again hat and also seeming to direct rioters around the Capitol.
Another one was actually seen wearing a MAGA hat and directing some of these insurrectionists through the Capitol.
Another one who was put on a MAGA hat and was seen directing people around the building. That is a very scary situation.
Isn't it amazing? What's so problematic about that hat when you think about it, especially if he's using it for de-escalation? You know, those officers in 2020 during the Black Lives Matter protests this summer, whenever these things happen, when cops got on knees, personally, I thought it was kind of ridiculous. I thought it was, I don't know, surrender. I mean, this is really bad. Look at this scene. The chief of the department is getting on his knees in front of the mob in New York City. Yeah. This may impress the fake news, and it does, and I'll show you that in a moment. But the guy on his knees there in the white shirt, he was punched in the face the next day by a protester at a Black Lives Matter situation on the Brooklyn Bridge. All right? You never get anything by doing this in front of the mob. But the media loved it.
A police chief took a knee with protesters showing solidarity.
Some officers even took a knee with protesters to show their support.
But among the outrage, images of hope coming out of some communities where protesters and police were seen coming together. In New York City, police taking a knee with protesters in a powerful moment of unity.
The MAGA hat's the worst thing in the world, but taking a knee, surrendering before the mob. What's happening here is a plan, an attempt to politicize the police, to make them a bastion of left-wing Democrat politics, kind of like an armed teachers union, but more fanatical. I believe that is a long-term Democrat project, one of them anyway. So the January 6 revelations are amazing and important and are only of interest to us. Nobody at Fox News is covering it again. Yeah, the Hemmer and Perino show, 9 o'clock in the morning. Are they above this? How about the 5? They need hot topics, talkers, right? And the president of the United States in the swamp, they're attacking Tucker Carlson. And you guys can't be bothered. What's up with that? You're not being honest. Not the first time Fox has been dishonest with their viewers, of course. All right, there is other news that they were talking about, and that's out there. Like the thing in Mexico, the Americans kidnapped, 2 of them killed by that drug cartel. Bad stuff. Everyone seems to be on board now with declaring cartels terror organizations and maybe bringing in the military. It's an idea that Trump had 6 years ago.
We've been talking about doing something against the Mexican drug cartels regarding foreign terrorist organization designation for a decade. If there were an ISIS or Al-Qaeda cell in Mexico that lobbed a rocket into Texas, we'd wipe them off the planet. They're doing that times thousands.
Solving the fentanyl crisis, which is using the U.S. military unapologetically to decimate the cartels, okay? You want to go Bin Laden on them, go Soleimani on them. Drone strikes, airstrikes, it is justified military force.
I'm down with that, and Trump was years ago. In a book by one of his mutinous cabinet secretaries, Esper. Take a look at this. Mr. Trump asked Mr. Esper at least twice if the military could shoot missiles into Mexico to destroy the drug labs. And when Mr. Esper raised various objections, Mr. Trump said, we could just shoot some Patriot missiles and take out the labs quietly, adding that no one would know who it was. I think it's a great idea. You know what Mark Esper's plan was? We should have more training, intelligence, and equipment for the Mexicans. That's going to make the difference, right? Anyway, great idea, imaginative, hadn't been tried before, and of course, the swamp hates that kind of stuff.
The notion that we would strike another democracy and lie about it is so comical and illegal, it's hard to know where to begin.
Former President Trump has no respect for the rule of law. He believes he has Putin-esque-like powers.
Okay, these claims that Donald Trump considered firing missiles into Mexico while he was president, folks, this is why your vote matters.
Yeah, it does matter, actually, very much, because the guy we have now doesn't think about solutions. When it comes to drug addiction and deaths by overdose, he just thinks about blaming the other guy.
Well, the interesting thing is that fentanyl they took came during the last administration.
Let's try the missiles in term 2 for Trump. All right, the zippity-doo-dah guy. What could be racist about this beautiful song? The woke left ruining this, too. We'll be right back.